Well, my job now is to introduce today's MC. I know that he's probably needs no introduction because I've seen him actually sign autographs. I was thought they were talking to me, but apparently not. But I would like to introduce Jason Colethorpe. He's an anchor and reporter for WDIV. He does many other various different stories, so you may have seen him. Fantastic supporter of not only West Bloomfield, clearly, also a supporter of our veterans. And we would really like to have a warm welcome for Jason.
Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer Tucker, everybody. And it is great to be here. I'm sorry Devin Skillion was unavailable. That's my big joke, so it doesn't get better than that right there. That's top of the line, and everything's downhill from there. How are you guys today? I don't want to interrupt you. Keep eating, not that you were going to stop for me, but it really is an honor to be here to honor our veterans, and thank you for your service in person. It's actually kind of funny. I was at breakfast just about 3 weeks ago. My wife and I went out. We have a new baby, a 1-year-old. And thank you. Don't thank me too soon. I also have a 21-year-old. Life is interesting. Dad, hey, what about my car payment? And the other one just goes, eh. It's a little different. So we were out to breakfast, and we were just talking, and in walks an older gentleman, and he had a World War II veteran hat on. And I don't know if he was with his granddaughter, could have been his great-granddaughter, honestly. And they sat down, and I just watched him, and I thought to myself, I was looking at my daughter, who's, like I said, a baby, and I thought, I really hope she understands one day just what this generation meant. Not just, World War II, but Korea and Vietnam. That it's just different from today that, these were kids who sometimes didn't want to go where they were going, but are the reason we're sitting here doing this, and I just hope she will get it. I hope my older kids get it, and the importance of it. And I told my wife, I said, we've got to thank him for his service before we leave. I don't want to interrupt them, but it was like interrupting a celebrity. Like Tom Cruise was over there. I don't want to bother him, but we stopped by, and I said, we can't leave without thanking you for your service. And he lit right up, and he turned around and smiled, and she smiled. And we felt great, and we walked down the street, strutted down, and I said, dang it, we forgot to pay for his breakfast. We wanted to do that too, but. So this is special for me. I appreciate it, and I think on behalf of everyone, we appreciate you and your sacrifice and your service. So thank you. All right. Now I get to introduce some of the people that are here helping with this, just to give them some kudos. Obviously, the people here at the Orchard Mall, we thank them, but the community staff who's here also helping out and making this possible today, we want to thank them. A couple of dignitaries to recognize, including Steve Kaplan, who's the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. That's him back there. That's him in the mask. Oh, that doesn't help. That's him waving. Debbie Binder, the county clerk, or the West Bloomfield clerk, I should say. She's pouring the orange juice. And Terry Weingarten, our treasurer, back there. How about Michael Patton, our chief of police? West Bloom chief is what we like to call him. The WBP, doesn't really have a good ring to it. Kurt Lawson, deputy chief of police. The real handsome, tall, good-looking golfer guy back there. That's him. That's him. He'll tell you how great. Ask him about his golf game and just how it is. He bought new clubs and almost threw them all over a cliff this summer. Kathy Russ, the library director. She's hiding. David Barash, park commissioner. John Eric, Park Commissioner. So we want to thank all of them. Oh, he's over there. There he is, sneaking to the other side. Come on, I like to keep my dignitaries in one spot. It makes it easier. All right, you get it. At this time, if you can, I know everybody's eating, but if you could stand for our presentation of colors and a blessing for our veterans. Please welcome our honor guard.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you all for being here. It's my honor to be here with you this morning. As a brief introduction, the one scripture that I hold on to is the one written in John 15:13. It goes like this: "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Did you know that there's over 16 million living veterans who have served in at least one war? Over 2 million of those veterans are women, and nearly 10 million of all veterans are over the age of 65. Can you imagine being a part of a group of men and women who are ready to defend our country from war, to be willing to leave family, friends, and comforts to keep all of us safe? It is only fitting that we would have a special day like today to honor each of you. For me, it's very personal. Both of my grandfathers served in at least one war. My father served in the Korean War and was injured, causing him lifetime scars. My brother-in-law served and is currently chaplain of the Wayne County VFW post. It is not lost on me that they could be called upon to leave us and go overseas. Not until I was touched by the military in my own family did I fully grasp the depth and the sacrifice of you veterans. A veteran is a word that simply means someone who is experienced in a field. But in our country, we also call those men and women who serve or have previously served in our military in any branch of veteran. Most of us remember September the 11th, 2001, now 20 years ago in our rearview mirror. One of the most striking things about the days following were the men and women who stepped up to protect our country. Why? Because they saw the threat of evil in this world and wanted to shield others from danger. No matter your political affiliation or stance on the war on terror, we can all agree that the men and women who serve deserve our thanks. One beautiful way to say thank you is to pray for them. They must certainly have their struggles, and we cannot know the depths of what each and every one of you go through on a daily basis. Prayer is a way for us to say thank you and let them know, and each of you know, we have not forgotten you. As we pray for our veterans, I ask you now to bow your heads and open your hearts. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, let these men and women of valor, these 1% of our population who protected all the rest of us and our partners on home soil, foreign soil, and abroad, feel your presence in their lives today. Let them feel especially honored. Let them feel especially loved here in this place today. Being humbled and grateful for even given the opportunity to be before you all, I pray all these supplications for your name to be glorified, who has given so many of us hope to keep moving forward, to keep moving forward. And let us never forget to reach to each side of us, in front or behind, to catch and encourage and pull any service member or their family affected by the ravages of war or peace and its toil on human lives, and to rescue them off their individual precipices of discouragement, despondency, loneliness, grief, sadness, and pain, and bring them to a brighter day, a more pleasant time, even in the midst of what we all know to be a world that is riddled with immense tension every moment. Let us march on till victory is won. Amen and amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. By the way, Robert's the current chair of the commission. I think we hunted him down just last night at 8 o'clock to tell him to do this. Boy, that was a heck of a impromptu prayer, I'll tell you that. Guy's good. If he was our pinch hitter, he'd step up cold and hit a home run out of the park like that. One quick thing, too. By the way, I missed one of our dignitaries earlier, and I don't want to do that. One of our township trustees is here, Jonathan Warshay. Right over there. Wearing the perfect tie for today. And the other thing we got a lot of rank and file police officers here today, too. Want to thank these guys for everything they do. These men and women, I should say. And now I want to bring back up Mark Ratanga for our Star-Spangled Banner and Pledge of Allegiance. No? Oh. Oh, yeah.
Okay, is this on? Testing. We're going to do the national anthem. We're going to do God Bless America, America the Beautiful, and then the Armed Forces medley. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stars and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? That was beautiful. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Very nice. And now, America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above thy fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. In the perfect world, we would have the PowerPoint presentation for all the armed forces. So I'm going to do my best. It's a lot of sheets. So when we get to your branch, we'll sing yours. We're going to start with the Army, okay? First to fight for the right and to build the nation's light, and the Army goes rowing along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rowing along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the Army's on its way, counting off the cadence loud and strong. And wherever we go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. Here we come into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting a flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in flames, boys. Nothing has stopped the U.S. Air Force. Let me stretch my words. We're ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through serpents, storm, and howling wind, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die. High Coast Guard, we are for you. Anchors away, my boys. Anchors away. Farewell to college joys. We sail at break of day. Stand baby out to sea. Through swirling foam. Until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. Thank you.
To turn the pages for you.
You would have been great at it, too.
Come on, give Mark another big hand. How about this guy? He's awesome. I told him, I said, hey, had I known he needed someone to turn the pages, I would have stayed right here. That's my fault. And by the way, I heard somebody singing during the national anthem over there that was dynamite. Who was that? Back at that table? Yeah, don't be shy over there. You should be singing at ball games. Nice. Well done. All right. Right now, I want to bring up the Oakland County Veterans Services. The head of that, his name is Garth Wooten. He's a veteran. Please welcome him. Put your hands together for Garth.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you to the City of West Bloomfield for inviting me to be here in the Parks Department. I'm truly honored to be able to speak to you today. And on behalf of County Executive David Coulter, I want to thank everybody for their service as a veteran. I am a veteran, served 4 years on active duty as a naval officer from 88 to 92, so a while ago, but the lessons I learned as a veteran continue to serve me well. Some of the things that we experienced in our younger years, many of us were given tremendous responsibility at the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And, you know, those type of lessons we learned have served us well as we move forward in our lives. And many of us continue to serve in different ways. So Oakland County is home to approximately 60,000 veterans. Of those veterans, we have 4,332 who are female veterans. Do we have any female veterans here today? Awesome. Awesome. Our female veterans is the largest percentage-wise growing group So as our veterans continue to reflect the current makeup of our military service, which has far more females serving than it used to have. So as I indicated, we have 60,000 veterans living in Oakland County currently. Unfortunately, those numbers continue to get smaller. When I started working for Oakland County Veteran Services in 1997, we had over 100,000 veterans. So we have an older population. Over 56% of our veterans are over age 65. And one of the things that we do for Oakland County Veteran Services, we are advocates for you as a veteran. Our saying is, you served us, we serve you. The VA spends a lot of money to provide compensation, pension, medical care to veterans. In 2019, which is the last year we have numbers available, they expended $357 million in providing compensation, pension, medical care, education benefits to veterans in Oakland County. So what does our office do? We are advocates for you. All of our veterans benefits counselors are accredited with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, which means that we can file claims on your behalf, and we can track those claims and be your advocate to try and make sure that you get what you're entitled to. I was just in the back there, and I had 3 people come up to me, talk to me about, well, I fought the VA for 20 years, or I'm still fighting the VA, or I need to see you guys. So that's why we're here. We're here to help you to make sure that claim gets processed properly and you get the benefits that you're entitled to. So we have 3 words that we use. We say advise, assist, and advocate. So we're going to advise you of all the benefits that you could be entitled to from the VA, from the state of Michigan, and also from Oakland County. We're going to assist you in filing any of those claims that need to be filed or that you want to have filed on your behalf. And then we're going to advocate for you. So we're going to make sure that that information, that evidence is submitted properly. We will file an appeal if necessary, and we're going to make sure that we follow that claim all the way until we have a successful or satisfactory outcome. So one of the tools we have, as I said, we're advocates. We are accredited with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, so the VA provides us with what's called a Piv Card, so I can sit in my office in Pontiac or Troy, and I can tell what's going on with your claim. I can make sure it's being processed properly. I can make sure evidence has been received. I can give you a status update on what's going on with that. So I would encourage anybody any veterans or their dependents, because dependents are entitled to certain benefits, to come into one of our offices. We have an office in Pontiac, which is located up at the county complex at 1200 North Telegraph. We also have an office in Troy, which is located at 1151 Crooks Road, which is on Crooks Road between 14 Mile and Maple Road. So I've got some brochures in the back, or you can look us up on the internet. Give us a call, make an appointment, and come in and meet with us so that we can go over your benefits and make sure you're receiving what you're entitled to. And I should point out, this is all provided free of charge because we are county government employees. We also have a transportation program that provides transportation to both VA medical centers. As you probably know, you can go to either the VA Medical Center in Detroit or the VA Medical Center in Ann Arbor. There's also an outpatient clinic in Pontiac through the VA. But we provide transportation to either one of those if you can get into one of our offices, and then we'll transport you to that particular hospital. Or if you're wheelchair bound, we can pick you up from your home with a wheelchair accessible vehicle and get you to one of those locations. So the last thing I want to talk about is Great Lakes National Cemetery. I am the president of the Great Lakes National Cemetery Advisory Council. It's a VA National Cemetery located up on Holly on Belford Road, and it's a beautiful place. It's been open since 2005, and at the present time we have about 53,000 veterans and dependents buried up there at that National Cemetery. It's maintained as a national shrine. If you go up there Grass is perfectly maintained. All the headstones are perfectly maintained. We, as an advisory council, do a headstone cleaning twice a year, so we go out there and clean every headstone in the spring and in the fall to make sure that they are not damaged and that they are, perfectly maintained. And one of the important things to know is that not only the veteran, but also the dependent of a veteran is eligible to be buried out there at the National Cemetery. And we do have a ceremony coming up on Veterans Day at 11 a.m., so it's open to the public this year. Last year we had to have a closed ceremony, but we're excited to be back out there and to have that public ceremony. So if you're able to get out there, please take that opportunity. And if you've never been out there, it'll be a great opportunity for you to go out there and see what's available to you out there. And the important thing to remember is that everything at that National Cemetery, once you get in those gates, is provided free of charge. So the opening, closing, grave liner, headstone, everything is provided free of charge and perpetual care. So again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and thank you for your service again. Again, you served us. We want to be able to serve you. So please, if you have an opportunity, come into one of our offices and we'll go over everything with you and make sure you're getting what you're entitled to. Thank you.
Gotta thank Garth for sure. And I don't know about you. I saw him hold up a credit card, and later he said the word free. So are we? I could be wrong on that, but are we getting free credit cards? I'm kidding. However, I do want to say I've done a couple stories at the Great Lakes National Cemetery, and he is underselling it. It is really moving. I was moved to tears on both occasions. One was the burial of a soldier who had become homeless and had no family, and so many other veterans showed up to be there for him. Never met him, wanted to be there and make sure that that this ceremony was special. And I'll tell you, if they have something on Veterans Day, you said you have a burial coming up and a ceremony. If you can make it, it really is something, and if you haven't been there, it really is quite moving in all seriousness. But we do want our credit cards, by the way, Garth. Yeah. Also, the pledge. Oh, the Pledge of Allegiance. I did skip that, didn't I? Oh, yes, I was going to do that. Dang it. I'm like, what pledge? Are we pledging money? Let me lead this because it takes me back to 4th grade. How about the Pledge of Allegiance real quick, ladies and gentlemen? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There we go. I'm glad somebody reminded me of that. Sometimes you can't count on us to stay on script sometimes. It sounds like one of my producers that says, would you just stick to the script and stop ad-libbing? You're messing everything up. Which happens if you watch. Very true. Okay, now I really want to introduce somebody very special here. Really an honor. His name's Dr. Guy Stern. Dr. Stern was born in Germany in January 1922. He was the only member of his 5-person family to escape to the U.S. in 1937. As World War II continued on, Dr. Stern became a member of the Ritchie Boys, a U.S. military intelligence unit that was responsible for gathering more than 60% of the intelligence on the Western Front. Dr. Stern interrogated POWs in Normandy right after D-Day, and he was decorated with the Bronze Star. Following the war, he learned that his family had died at the Warsaw Ghetto. Dr. Stern went on to earn a PhD in German literature, eventually landing here in Metro Detroit as a distinguished professor at Wayne State University. After he retired, he took on various positions at the Holocaust Memorial Center. In 2020, he published his memoir, Invisible Ink, and earlier this year, he appeared on an episode of 60 Minutes. Dr. Stern was unable to be here with us in person today at the Heroes Breakfast, but he did prepare a conversation just for this event, and we want to play it for you now on the screen. It's about 14 minutes. Dr. Guy Stern.
West Bloomfield resident Guy Stern's improbable journey to becoming an American hero during World War II began as he grew up a young Jewish boy named Gunther Stern in the town of Hildesheim, Germany.
1933, January, as you know, the Nazis came to power and it changed our whole lifestyle. The harmonious understanding between the three religions was shattered, and discriminatory laws were being passed, which meant, for example, that only a quota of Jewish children could go to certain schools. It meant that my father lost many of his customers because there was propaganda against Jewish owners of businesses. That, of course, became worse and worse, and as time went on, there were attacks on us Jewish children in high school, and there were physical attacks as well as verbal ones. We were able to contact my father, an organization that was nicknamed the Organization of 1,000 Children. These women had set themselves a goal to rescue 1,000 threatened children in Germany and Austria. And in fact, they exceeded their goal, and that was the route, so to speak, across which I reached the United States. I was also fortunate that I had an uncle in St. Louis, and he was a brother of my mother, and he was able to vouch for one member of our family that he or she would not become a public charge, and my parents selected me in the hope that I, during my stay in the United States, could find a sponsor for the rest of my family.
In 1941, Guy had relocated to St. Louis, Missouri, and was 19 years old when on December 7th, the attack on Pearl Harbor occurred.
Thoughts after I'd failed to get my parents over were this war that was then declared by Germany and Japan on the United States. This war is my war as well. I had in the meanwhile graduated from high school, was going to St. Louis University. There were posters that asked qualified people, qualified by knowing the language, the customs, the tradition of the enemy countries, to come down to the recruiting office of Naval Intelligence. I went down, and the ensign was very pleased with my qualifications, but noticed my accent and said, are you born in the United States? I said, no, I was not. And he said, can't use you for intelligence service. We only enlist native-born Americans. However, half a year later, the draft, and I got ultimately into Army intelligence.
After basic training in Texas, Guy was transferred to Camp Ritchie, Maryland, where he and his fellow German and Austrian soldiers were trained for counterintelligence and interrogation of prisoners on the front lines in Europe because of their knowledge of the German language and culture. They will forever be known as the Ritchie Boys.
Interrogation was one of the skills we had to master. They gave us both the treaty to read that governed intelligence of enemy captives, and also the methods in which we were most likely going to use in interrogating German prisoners of war. And that was an excellent course. It took 9 weeks to cover it, and it was intense. As many of my fellow Ritchie boys, as we were nicknamed as a unit, we felt that this was both our country's war and our own individual ones.
After training at Camp Ritchie and then in Louisiana, Guy was sent to Europe, eventually landing on Omaha Beach in Normandy, France on D-Day +3, June 9th, 1944.
When we landed, when we were on that PT boat that took us from Great Britain to France, all of us on that boat were scared, and I had a double further feeling. Number one, that I would not be able to keep my food if I saw the carnage that was still visible upon landing, and we were prepared for that. And secondly, I was prepared that I would get very rough treatment if I should be captured by the Germans as a German Jewish soldier against them. And that was almost the rumors that had reached us prior to getting on that boat. But our PT boat landed very close to the shore. I got ashore, and 10 minutes later was already engaged in interrogating a tough German artillery soldier who had been captured. One of our fellow soldiers who had landed 2 days previous, he called me over immediately and said, "Get the hell over here, Stern. We have too many prisoners." And indeed, that was the case. So I started with this artillery sergeant, the German artillery sergeant, and I got absolutely nowhere. He refused to answer any questions beyond the mandatory name, rank, and serial number. And I was in despair. I thought I was going to fail. So let's say destiny helped. A shell came over, an artillery shell. We both hit the ground, and I got up much before he did. Why? Not because, as he probably surmised, that I was brave beyond recall. No, I was inexperienced and didn't really come to grips with the fact that where one shell came from, several others could follow. And so I was up. And from that moment on, supposedly because he felt that I was a tough soldier, I was inexperienced at the time, beyond training at Ritchie. When I got up first, the roles were reversed. I was dominant. He answered every one of my questions, and that was a routine that followed me throughout the battles of France and Belgium and Germany.
It has been estimated that 60% of the actionable intelligence gained against the German army was attained by the work of the Ritchie boys, and it was one specific technique that seemed to create the best results from their efforts.
We used the fifth method of interrogation, which was playing on their fears. And there we were a bit imaginative. What the German soldiers were most afraid of, with good reason, was to be captives of the Russians, to be in a Russian prisoner of war enclosure. So we used a Russian, and that was a certain Commissar Krukov. And who was Commissar Krukov? That was me. I acquired some Russian uniform parts, also some German captured medals, which the Germans had taken from Russian captives. I adorned myself with those and had put on a Russian accent in my interrogation. And with that disguise, if you will, I was able to extract information from prisoners as with about 80% of success, even those who were very security conscious.
Sadly, as he made his way through Europe, finally ending up in Germany, Guy found out the fate of his family he had left behind less than 10 years earlier.
I did not know and still had hopes that I could be instrumental, possibly, if we were victorious in crossing France and Belgium and getting into Germany, that I might be able to do something if they still were alive. My parents and my brother and sister were deported from their homes to Warsaw and Auschwitz, and that is the last thing I ever heard from them, and all of them perished.
While the Ritchie boys still received tremendous accolades for their efforts in World War II, Guy knows their honors would not have been possible without the efforts of his fellow servicemen.
I saw examples of heroism when I landed on shore. You know, the Rangers and the infantry had to climb up those horrible cliffs, and all at the time being shelled by fortified German troops on top of the cliffs. But they made it. I was so impressed. And I must say that those troops were the true heroes of that attack. So it's the most ambitious invasion ever planned.
And just 2 months shy of his 100th birthday, a special Veterans Day message from Guy Stern.
I have the greatest respect for my fellow soldiers, and I'm glad to be in the company on that celebration which you have planned on that Victory Day. And I am still in the presence of fellow soldiers. I feel today, even being a retired professor, I still feel that is a comfortable place to be. They are my buddies.
Master Sergeant Guy Stern, PhD, by the way. Well, you're not going to believe what we have next. No. How about that? I just can't get over how powerful that was and moving, and what a story, and just what an effort. And just to hear those stories about how it all came together, better to be lucky than good might just have come from his story right there, that phrase. But I don't know, I just feel so lucky to have heard that and to be part of that. I just want to give a few more thank yous out. Guys, we're almost done here. So is it too late for seconds? If anybody wants to get seconds or thirds, feel free. Or grab some more coffee. But I do want to thank our host this morning. I want to Brandon and his team at Jagged Fork for the fabulous food today. Thank you. To our volunteers who've been serving you for your service, we thank them and we thank you. Also want to thank the hosts here at Orchard Mall to make everything so accessible today. Thank you. Our other sponsors today are presenting sponsors Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. Thank you. And our supporting sponsors, this one I'll say, hold your applause until I get through these. Two Men in a Truck, Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, Straith Orthopedics, CNS Healthcase, Sunrise Living, Brookdale Southfield and ProMedica, Marvin and Betty Danto Healthcare Center. Thank you. And also we want to thank the West Bloomfield Public Library for sponsoring today's entertainment, and Frameable Faces for the photography. Hopefully you took advantage of that. The photos, probably they told you this, but they'll be available in 3 weeks for you to pick up. Veterans, you will be contacted about that, don't worry. And thank you to Civic Center TV and Motown Digital for the stage, the production, and the sound today. Guys, thank you. And thank you to our students at Scotch Elementary for the thoughtful notes of gratitude and appreciation. Hope you got a chance to see those. All right, now we have these centerpieces. I see a lot of people eyeing the centerpieces. A couple of them have already been hidden under coats and jackets. Well, there's a formal giveaway to those, sorry to tell you. English Gardens is donating those centerpieces today to whoever has the closest birthday to Veterans Day at your table. So you got to figure it out. Oh, look at him. He just throws his hands up. That's got to be me. May 4th. Yeah, just give me that. So you'll actually have to discuss. Throw out your birthdays there and figure that out. Whoever's birthday is closest to Veterans Day, you win the flowers. And each veteran will also leave with a gift from our hosts, our sponsors, and our community donors today. But and our last reminder, by the way, West Bloomfield Parks hosts monthly veterans meetups. Keep an eye out for the email after today inviting to the next one in 2022. They're held at the Connect Senior Center. And thank you again, everybody, for being here. And our last shout out of the day goes to Larry Nyland. He was the one who recorded and edited that video with Master Sergeant Guy Stern. So thank you to him. And we're going to play you out today. Don't worry, you're going to get Mark Ratango one more time today with some great music. But as he comes up, thank you everybody for being here and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again for your service.